Hey, this is Clay with Clay's AC and Auto. Hey, I made this video. I wanted to point out to you guys, I know most people don't watch these whole videos, you know, they watch a minute or two. You probably should watch the whole video. It's going to show you some little tips and techniques on how to get this alternator out if you're taking it out of a Ford Edge or a Ford Flex on the V6 model. But most of all, I want you guys to subscribe and share because it is how I get paid. It's 0.2 of a cent. Everybody who subscribes and watches my videos, I don't get 0.2 of a cent if you don't subscribe. So anyways, remember, if you want to reach out to me, you can do that on Clay's AC and Auto Repair on Facebook. Don't be the next to them, be the first to you. And if you want to help me out even further, just turn the volume down on your computer, hit one of my playlists, and just let my videos play. I greatly appreciate all them things, and I greatly appreciate all you guys with your nice comments. So enjoy. I hope the video's helpful. Hey, good afternoon. This is Clay with Clay's AC and Auto Repair and Clay Motion here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. If you like this video, please press like. Send me your very, very nice comments. I greatly appreciate them. Let me know if it helped you. Most of all, subscribe and share my videos with other people because, you know, there's a lot of tricks that I show you. I never know when I'm going to show you a certain trick or nothing like that. But remember, if anybody else can do it, you can do it too. Today, we are going to work on a 2010 Ford Edge. This is also going to be about the same procedure more than likely for your Ford Flex as far as the alternator goes. It's not going to be step by step, but listen, if man made it, you can figure out how to fix it. Because remember, somebody else had to build this thing, and it was probably somebody a lot stupider than you making this thing in a factory wherever they make this stuff at. So what we got going on is we got a bad alternator. It's seized up, the belt's broken on this 2010 Ford Edge. Well, I thought you had to remove the tire and I thought you had to remove the inner fender liner, but that wouldn't actually be any help to you, so we're not going to do it that way. It looks like we're going to tackle it from the top. Now, we've got a couple lines in the way, and my end procedure is probably going to be a little bit simpler. If we're going to find out at the end of the video. I've never actually done this procedure, so we're going to find out if the steps that I take, if I should have took them in a different order, and I'll explain that to you at the end of the video. But I do see that there's a coolant hose that runs over the top of it. There's an AC line. I'm hoping you don't have to disconnect your AC line, but if we do, we're going to be able to do that here in the shop, and then that'll lead to a video on how to fill it. So I'm probably going to end up doing that as far as the AC goes because it looks like it's right there. Looks like this coolant line that runs from your bottle is right in the way. Looks like the fans are right in the way. And we'll go over that here in a couple moments. So after removing the 10mm that held down our positive side of our battery, we popped our two clips that held on the top of there. We loosened up the flathead screwdriver that held this on. And to undo your mass airflow sensor, we slide the red collar back there and then push down on the tab, and then you can unplug that. That removes our air box cover, and then we removed our air filter. We took out one 8mm screw that held down the air filter, and then we're able to pull the housing out, and it's secured down by rubber pushies that kind of hold it pretty tight. Never been taken out before. And then we're able to get down to our plug that houses our radiator fans together, and we're going to push the clip that holds that in, and if you can't get it in, just wiggle it, push the clip in and wiggle it back and forth, and then it'll slide off of there. And then we're going to remove the 8mm, it seems like, bolts that hold our fan down, and then hopefully we're able to pull the fan out of the way, and maybe we'll be able to work around the radiator hose without draining all the coolant out, and maybe the AC line, but I'm quite certain that the AC line has to come out. I'm not sure yet, but I'll let you know here in a minute in the video. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to remove the drain plug for the radiator and drain out the coolant. It's a 19mm, and it's on the driver's side, lower corner of the radiator. So now I'm going to remove the hose ring on here. Now these can be tricky little boogers because if you don't have a hose ring or a hose, what they call, and I don't make up this word, but in the automotive world they call them bitch clamps because they're a pain in the ass. But if you have one of these tools, it's a lot easier, or if you have the handheld version of them, it's a lot easier. I have them both. And I'm going to unhook that hose clamp and pull this upper radiator hose off just so I'm not working around it. Okay, so the nice thing about using one of these hose clamp tools is that it locks the clamp into place with that lock right there. You can get these anywhere, and this is a very, very valuable tool to have if you're going to do any work in the future on automobiles. I highly recommend it. But now that we've got the clamp, we've got that out of there, that's going to make that much easier to get the radiator fan out. We've got our 2 bolts out, the one that was underneath the radiator hose right there, the 8mm bolt, and then the other one, and then this thing should just lift up out of here. We've got it unplugged. We should be good. So while I was lifting that out, I had to take this wiring harness and I had to push it in the front of there to be able to remove that, but it came out fairly easy, so you shouldn't have any problems there. Okay, so now we've taken the 13mm nut off of there, and then to get this out, we basically just took our finger. I'm sorry that there's not a really good angle to see here, but I'll try to get the light over here for you. It's not a real good angle to see this, but you're going to basically stick your finger on this tab in there, and you're going to push it in, and then you'll be able to pull that out of there. Okay, so to remove the alternator, we're going to have to take out this top bolt. This is more than likely a wire that comes around, so there's probably something clipped in there. And then if we notice, we have a little slide here, so I'm not sure what's doing with that, but it looks like a bolt goes through the back. So we're going to make sure of that. And then the other thing that we're going to check is sometimes on the back of alternators they have a bracket that mounts to them as well. So now I'm going to take out the 3 bolts that hold the tensioner on right here, so I can get to the lower alternator bolt. I went from underneath and tried to get that out, and I couldn't get it out. I'm using a long gear wrench. Highly recommend these. Okay, so now we've taken out, we're starting to loosen up our last 15mm bolt, and that holds the alternator on there. And you notice I'm using a shallow socket for the bottom one, and you notice the position of the bolt, so it's easier to find. There's quite a few bolts down there, but that is the particular one you need to be on. So now I understand why this bracket right here has a slotted groove in it. It's because you can't get the bolt all the way out of here. You have to pull out the stud out of this other one, and there is a little wire that's clipped to that like I thought. So we're going to end up having to pull this stud out of here, I believe. So we took a 7mm socket and put it on the end of there and screwed that out of there. Pretty easy stuff. So what you're going to end up having to do is you're going to end up having to take a pry bar and pry this back just a little bit so it rocks. And you're going to rock it back and forth, and you're going to ever so gently move it back and forth like this, and it's going to come out. The reason that it does that is there's a clamp back here, and when this nut is tightened down, it pushes that clamp out right there, and then that clamps against it. So basically on the back side of there, I doubt you can see any of that nut, but I haven't got mine out yet, but I just want to let you know that's how you got to get it out. One thing that may work is if you take and put the bolt back to its original position, I'm not talking about threading it in, and you took a pry bar and you stuck it in there, and then you just kind of pushed against that, that may push it out, because I stuck my hand back there and noticed that that nut is flush with the back of the housing, unlike the new alternator. So that might help you out a little bit. So if you push on that nut a little bit, you'll feel it protrude, which mine is, so it should be a little bit looser. Maybe I can get it out. Now you'll notice that down there I've got mine loose now, and what I basically did is I took my long pry bar and I stuck it down through here. The nut method worked a little bit. It pushed the nut out, but I couldn't get it to push out far enough. So I ended up going through here, and I was really careful, and luckily this head, the valve cover is aluminum, but I didn't pry on there. I wanted to stay at that ridge between the cylinder head and the aluminum valve cover. So now I'll pull it out. Okay, so now we obviously got it out. And if you flip it over, you can see what I was talking about. The nut is not exposed like it is on the new one. Be really careful not to drag it across the radiator. Just take it out gently. Make sure this hose is over here, out of your way, and pull it out. I hope the video was helpful. If you don't mind, turn the volume down on your computer and just play my videos in my playlist. You don't have to listen to me yammer. Please subscribe and share. It's how I get paid. They literally pay me 0.2 cents for everybody who watches these videos. So it's super nominal. But if you have as many videos as me, woo woo, you're making 150 bucks a month. Yeehaw. But anyways, I love helping you guys. I love all the nice comments. Please share and subscribe. Share and subscribe. If you want to reach out to me, hit me up on Facebook under Clay's AC and Auto Repair. Remember, if anybody else can do it, you can do it too. Don't be the next to them. Be the first to you. God bless you. Have a great day.